It's MoniqueFriday once again. I have here with me an amazing woman. She's an author, a speaker, and a corporate trainer who has trained over 1,000 people. She's also the founder of the Fabulous Women Network, as well as the Corporate Training Solutions. Hello, one of the people in Ghana, if not the whole West Africa, who rocks the down cut so well. My guest for today is the fabulous Ama Duncan.
Thank you, Monique.
Oh, Ama Duncan. Are you aware that you're one of the people who really rock the down cut so well in Ghana here?
Well, I'm blushing, literally. Thank you. I didn't know, but now that you're saying it, thank you.
Have you always worn this look?
No, I've had it for 5 years.
5 years. So it means in the university you had.
I had long hair and then I cut it in the university and then I grew it back. And then about 5 years ago, I just decided this is way better.
Yeah, it's way better indeed. Okay, now, away from what has already been said about you, how would you describe yourself? Who is Ama Duncan?
Okay, I believe I am a child of God, definitely. I'm a wife, I'm a mother. I love to talk to the extent that I talk for a living. People actually pay me to talk, and I love writing, I love reading, and I also love to influence people, especially where they think there are things they cannot do. Based on the little experience that I have had, I know that we are actually way capable of more than we think we are. So I also love to influence people.
Yeah, you influence me a lot.
Oh, thank you. I hope in a positive way.
In a positive way, or just that I won't cut my hair.
I am so happy that you are not so influenced that everything I do you want to be you. So that is very important.
Yeah. Now I find this intriguing. You were working in a reputable international 4-star hotel and you resigned. What influenced that decision?
It's quite a lot of things, but in a nutshell, I needed to grow out of there. I needed to expand my territory. Even though it was a great place, I feel it was for a time. It was to groom me for what was ahead. So when the time came, I felt in my spirit that it was time to move on. And with all the fear and uncertainty and self-doubt, I still was able to move.
Yes, I was going to ask, were you not scared? Were you not afraid that what if this doesn't work?
Yes, I was definitely terrified for years. I mean, it's not something that just came up one day. It was something I had been thinking of for a while, for maybe 4 years. I always came up with an excuse why I couldn't. I mean, I was so dependent on monthly income ever since the security, whether even if it was 100 Ghana cedis, I knew I was getting it at the end of the month. So that was one of the biggest factors. And then it was also an already known brand, so it's easier to be associated with a brand that people know. But in my case, I was moving out away from that brand to start my own or to focus on my own brand. It was a lot of different things apart from the security of the income. But I took a couple of steps. I did a few things that helped me, give me the confidence to actually move, and eventually I did.
So, how long has it been since you started the Fabulous Women Network?
April will be 3 years. Yes, but yes, April will be 3 years. Yeah.
Now,
basically.
Looking at the Fabulous Women Network and the things you do, what would you say motivated you to start? Was it a personal experience you had when you were growing up, or you just wanted to do something for women? Then you decided, well, let me start the Fabulous Women Network.
It's quite an interesting story. I never ever thought I would even be someone talking for or about women or with women. Of course I have a lot of friends. But so at the time when I was still in corporate world, working full time, and I thought I needed to do something more, I needed to move out of that territory to do more. I was battling a lot with what to do, and I didn't know. But I took a trip to my school, my former school, Archbishop Water Girls, and the current headmistress, Mrs. Ama Duncan. I met her and she couldn't recognize my face because maybe now I'm bald. I think then I had a punk or something. So she couldn't recognize my face. But when I mentioned my name, my maiden name, Ama Duncan, she's like, oh, you used to write so well. Do you still write? I said, no, I don't. But on my way back, I kept thinking about it. Yes, writing was something I loved. I don't mean to brag, but I used to love writing to the extent that my BEC, I think we were asked to write 500 words or so. When I was done and I counted, I was like 1,002 words. Like I can write my head off. And I loved reading as well. So I've actually shared that story in this book, a bit of that story, not the full story. So on my way back, I kept thinking, yeah, I used to love writing. Why don't you write? And at the time, I had seen people blogging, and it was so nice. A friend of mine was blogging about fashion. So I remember an entire night we kept. She's in London, Marion, and I'm in Ghana. We text each other about blogging. She was trying to tell me how blogging works and everything. So I was thinking, oh, maybe I should be a blogger too. And she was doing fashion blogging, and it was the ish. Yeah. So I was like, okay, why not fashion blogging? So I told her friend, what do you think about, like, what do you think I should, I want to blog about fashion, what do you think? She was like, seriously? Like, yeah, so I knew, okay, I am not a fashion person, forget it. So yes, then I was like, okay, what can I write about that? Writing, it's something that comes from here, so it has to be something you love. I love food, but I'm surprised it never came up that I should blog about food, which it's such a shock to me. But then, at the time too, I used to go on social media a lot, and I had seen that I used to be inspired by women a lot, especially stories about women that people thought they shouldn't get to the places that they have been, and they were there. People who had moved ahead in life in spite of their past mistakes, their challenges. I mean, there are women who have caused 10 abortions, have messed up so much. Maybe they used to be prostitutes or something, but they found their calling, they found God, they found their calling, and they are doing things to help other people. I thought that is the kind of writing I want to write about. So I just really thought, oh, let me start writing about my mom. And then I just wrote about her. I called her Fabulous because of the word fabulous. I got it from, I mean, it's a popular word, but I got it from this Marianne Williamson's poem, Our Deepest Fear.
I was even going to ask you, who is a fabulous woman? So you finish this, I'll ask about that.
Okay, sure. So, yeah, I got the word fabulous from that poem, and so I just titled it The Fabulous Woman. At the time, it was just The Fabulous Woman. I wrote about my mom, and I posted it with her picture. People were like, oh, that's so nice. Oh, and I wrote about it. I had these friends, my immediate 4 friends. I wrote about them, another friend and other friend. So I just started writing, and people were like, oh, that's such a nice. I was like, oh, really? Okay, then let me write more. At the back of my mind, really, all I wanted was to hone my writing skills so that I could be an author. I was just preparing myself to, that is what I thought. I had no idea that I was going to end up being a social enterprise. So basically, I didn't even know what I was going to do with it. And then one of my team members, Riga Wright, suggested, okay, have an event. People will come. I was like, are you sure? Like, yeah, you have so much following. I was like, okay. So we had the first event, which was a private one, posted pictures. People were like, oh, you should have invited me. I was like, okay, we'll have another one. And we did, and 300 people turned up. I was like, wow. Oh, really? Okay, so that's how the whole event, and I love organizing activities and events and all, so I love it. Like our next event, the dinner with the girls, and next year taking it up further, we are going to Dubai for executive strategy retreat.
I have to tag along.
Yeah, this year it was in Almina. Next year we are looking to go to Dubai in July. So it's been one amazing journey after the other. But coming to your question of who is the fabulous woman, the fabulous woman is basically any woman who is pursuing her goals, her dreams, is impacting other people in spite of her own past mistakes, in spite of her current challenges and her fears. She's making things happen. Like you are a trained nurse, in spite of the fact that you don't have a job now as a nurse, you are sitting in front of me. You have taken trotro with your cameraman to chase me, to interview me. Do you know how fabulous that makes you? And that's not the end. You're a nurse, but this beautiful dress you're wearing, you sewed it yourself. Serious. That's what. If you had told me that, oh, you came in a V8, I wouldn't have been impressed. But the fact that you took trotro, you see, you don't make anything stop you. The fact that I wasted
no, you are
so
making
much.
Me blush. You are making
No,
me...
but you see, I need you to understand that
Yes.
it is because of people like you that I even have a story to share.
And it's you people like you have also motivated a lot of us. Yes, and it's a privilege to be here actually.
Thank you. But I want you to know that I
Okay.
feel the same because
Yeah.
it is not every day you get to hear stories like yours. People think that, I mean, this will probably come on TV or on YouTube and people will think, oh, look at her, she's all that, but they have no idea. So you see, that's why I want us to tell the story so that people know the realities.
The realities.
It's not just about the flashy, seeing the pictures and the smiles,
There are
but the
so many things that go behind the
exactly.
scenes.
So that other people can say that, you know what, if she could do that, so can I.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
mention.
Now let's talk about, you are a social entrepreneur, and you know it takes lots of risk doing what you do. What major risk did you take that made you go like, if this doesn't work out, I'm doomed?
Oh dear. So that major risks mostly have to do with our events because it costs money to do these events, and these are events that we cannot charge so much because of our target audience, right? And then the other thing is it costs, really it does. So I am always organizing these events. I'm not making money from them, of course. I'm always praying, God, at least let me cover my costs. I'm always telling God, just let me just, but it's not good enough. I have to sustain the business. So the risk I have been taking is to put these events out there and say, okay, we are going to have this event. When I don't know, number one, will people come? Will I get the resources I need? Occasionally we do get support, and I want to also use this opportunity to say thank you to individuals who just contact me and say, I want to sponsor. Like there's a gentleman, for instance, called Bismarck. Every time we have events, he sponsors people from Dadieso, girls from Dadieso. He just pays for them. Recently I was there and Nita Skin just sent me a message. I want to sponsor this lady and 2 other ladies if you want.
Wow.
Yes,
wow.
Just like that. Because if you think, oh, you're going to call on these big corporates to, my dear. But Access Bank has been helpful. I am one of their W ambassadors. So from time to time they help, which really cushions us. And then there's another organization called USADF. It's in the United States. While I was on the Mandela Washington Fellowship, I won a funding with them. So these are 3 groups of or categories of people who have been really helpful to us. Otherwise, it would just be fiscally impossible with the kinds of charges we have. And then I've had sometimes our suppliers like Frederick's Lodge, where we are right now, they offer to give us the venue for free. So things like that help. Otherwise, it would just be fiscally impossible. Sometimes you have the speakers and they are willing to speak to you to speak for free. So those things are the things that cushions the risk. But
apart from that,
if they don't support it, it's not possible. It won't happen. It's been God. It's really been God from day one.
Yes. Now let's talk a bit about the corporate world. You have I think you have more than 12 years experience in the human resource management. And what's one thing you think as women stops us from climbing the corporate ladder?
One thing, let me say maybe 2 or 3.
Say more.
I think one of the biggest things is our self-doubt. We think, oh, I'm not capable of doing this. There's this thing that I used to hear and I thought, oh, it's not true. That when 2 people are applying for a job, a man and a woman, typically, the man may be 60-40% qualified and will apply anyway. the woman will be 80% qualified, and because of that lack of the 20%, like, nah, I don't think I'm good enough. So she won't apply.
Self-doubt.
So we doubt, and I had that a lot when I was in corporate world. I never had the courage to ask for more. I knew I was not being paid well, but I never. Once my boss actually called me and asked me why other people are always coming to his office asking, and I never asked, because I didn't even feel that I was worth it. Frankly, I thought it was okay, and I looked at everybody else's pay was small, so I was like, so who am I
to get
to go and get more?
Yes.
So that is one self-doubt. And then there's also realistically our responsibilities. See, a man has to travel. Let's say a man and a woman have to travel separately for work. The man packs his bag, says, okay honey, I'm off, then goes, bye kids, hugs them, go. If he's the kind who has to give chop money or whatever, probably he does it, and then he goes. The woman has to travel. She has to make sure that everybody is okay. There's somebody taking care of the kids' food. There's someone picking them to school. There's someone making sure their bags are packed, their homework, everything aside from the home, before she can think. Combining it is really hard. If perhaps we're all housewives, it will be easier because you have your own time, or like an entrepreneur. If you're either a housewife or a businesswoman, you control your own time most of the time. But if you're working for someone and you have a baby and you have to go for, what's it called, the checkups that we go with baby, I've even forgotten all those things. Weighing and all those things, and it's time consuming. And when you have children in the beginning, there might be a few sicknesses here and there, and you are always having to ask permission and go. So sometimes you are already stressed. Listen, it's not easy. I'm telling you, there was this one time we took a trip to Cape Coast, and I forgot my child's wipes, just wipes. And all hell broke loose. Just because it's such a tiny detail, but you forget, like you forget diaper, you're in trouble. But the man is cool. Who cares if you forget the feeding bottle, or even the teeth of the feeding? So you have to remember so many details. So sometimes you think about all this and like, okay, you know what? Let me just put that on hold. And I know quite a number of women who have had to put their career on hold to take care of their kids, and I respect them.
Yes,
it is not easy, because we don't also work just because we have to. We work because we love it. So it's like you're putting that part on hold so that you can do another thing that you love, which typically men don't have to deal with that, So these are a few of the things that makes us think, okay, you know what? Because listen, there's nothing like Superwoman. It's not real. It is not real. And I remember something that Anita Eskin said: do what your sanity allows you. We should stop trying to impress. Oh yeah, I'm this and I'm that and I can do this my dear.
I'm so glad when you defined a fabulous woman as the one who, in spite of her mistakes, goes for, not someone who always has it together. She has this, goes to work on time, take care of the kids. Everything is perfect.
I don't even think that is real. Yes, perhaps we have women who are calm, but it doesn't mean that inside things are not happening, But I think that also we grow to the point where we start maturing and we start taking things easy, and we start realizing that, hey, relax. we get to that point, and I believe I'm actually at that point where, while you were waiting for me, one of the reasons I was really super late, I was rushing to pick something to wear. I was like, relax. I made myself a cup of tea. I sat on the bed. I was like, relax, Ama. We are always on the edge. Hurry, you have to hurry. Relax. And at the end of the day, look, we won't die. So we are all going to die anyway. Just relax and enjoy life. So I'm at that stage where I'm like, relax, Ama. Everything will be fine. Just relax.
Relax, everything will be fine.
Everything will be fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about everybody in general. What does it take to succeed in the corporate world?
In the corporate world?
Yes.
Well, depending on your situation, but you will need a lot of resilience. You will need a never say die attitude. I have had the privilege to work in 3 different countries, but I've worked longer in Ghana.
Okay.
And we have a certain attitude at the workplace which is intense. You can just have someone hating you for no reason at all. Or perhaps there's a reason but you don't know. And sometimes you have someone actually hating you and you don't even know that the person hates you, but the person is smiling with you. So one of the things I would say that you need to be able to survive is you need not to take things personally. Don't be offended by how people treat you. Choose to respond positively. Choose how you respond to things. Don't just blow. And I used to blow a lot. Like every little thing, I would just blow and start screaming and going crazy. And I've realized that no, people have their own baggage. Somebody is coming at you and probably insulting you, but you are not the reason he is insulting you.
There's a problem in the house.
There's a problem in the house. So we should really learn not to take things personally. And learn to grow. Find people who are ahead of you instead of envying them. For instance, if there is a position, both of us are struggling to take that position and then you get it. Instead of me being envious and backbiting and all that, rather look at her. What is it about Monique that made her get it? And try to strive for that. Instead of, why did they even give it to her? You know, that we have that attitude.
Yeah.
No. There's always something. So learn from the people ahead of you and try to get what you want. And then get them to mentor you if possible. It is possible to actually get somebody who is willing to teach you what they know. And people know stuff. People die all the time with their knowledge. So find out from people ahead of you and then be knowledgeable in your field. If it's nursing, read what are the, how do you call it, what are the trending issues, what are people talking about, what are people studying, what are people doing, what are the conferences that people are going to attend these. Be knowledgeable and then of course put that knowledge to practice. Be willing to intern. Be willing to go to another company and learn from them. You know, learn, read.
Yeah.
Put yourself in a place where you stand out.
Put yourself at a place where you stand out.
Exactly, stand out. Don't be like, oh, we all have a degree, big deal.
Yeah.
We've all learned how to do the same thing. I have a friend who is currently an HR manager. This person came to my company as a national service person. He came with a degree from the KNUST. When he came, he was a waiter, a KNUST student who had finished. He was a waiter. I was observing him. I looked at his file. I interviewed him. I realized that every time during his break, and his parents were very rich. This is something we didn't even know till later.
Wow.
But every vacation, he was made to learn something. So this boy had been to the hair salon, knew how to make hair. He had worked as a mechanic before, had done various things. So he was very skilled. When my department needed someone to support us in HR, I recommended him. He was in HR for 2 months and then I left. When another company told me that they needed an HR manager, I was like, there's only one person I know who can do the job. And I recommended you. As we speak, this person has been doing their HR for almost 2 years now. And he hasn't failed them. They love him. Why did I choose him? He stood out. Everybody else had a degree. He was willing to be a waiter. Not only that. And you should see him serving. He serves like he's the happiest server. And sometimes he was serving his mates from school.
Yeah, and even in our part of the country where if you're a waiter, you are looked
down on,
yeah.
but not this way. And he had the mechanic experience. He had the hair making experience. And I don't even know whether he learned sewing too. But that made him stand out. And that's what...
Yeah, so you need to stand out.
Stand out.
That is very good.
Have a strategy. You end up having a life like I had this morning. When I didn't have a plan, I thought, oh, I had a free day, only to realize I had interviews and because I didn't plan, I didn't put it in my plan. My husband was like, you of all people, you always plan. Yeah, so today I didn't. So you just end up going all over the place, going around, you need to have a plan. You cannot just wake up and not know what you want to do. In the same vein, you cannot have a business and not know what you want to do. Because it's only when you know what to do that then you find out the resources you need and you go and get them. So everybody must have a plan.
Yes.
If you don't have a plan, then you're actually failing.
You go different directions.
Today you hear, oh, let's go here, then you're going, hey, this, then everything.
Yes.
When you have a plan, you know that not every opportunity is for you. Sometimes there are opportunities that come up and I have to say no. Not because it is not good, but it's not in line with my plan.
Your strategy. Okay. Now, what achievements so far gives you joy? You know I've been able to achieve this, and when you see it, you are so happy inwards. What achievements so far?
Well, I don't know if they are personal achievements, but by the grace of God, the Fabulous Woman Network, like you said, we've trained quite a number of people. And what gives me joy, sometimes when I'm looking at pictures or videos of our events, I can't believe it. Oh God, did that really happen? Recently, I was looking at videos from our executive strategy retreat with Yawa Hansen Kwao. We did it in Almina, and so I was like, oh, did that really happen? And then I was looking at the breakfast with the girls
in Accra. I watched the small videos. I was like, wow, this thing is going really big.
And it's you know, and then my book, for instance, I wanted to publish it for so long, and last year I actually did publish it. Wow, has this really happened, you know? So I think, I don't know if they are achievements, but they are things that I think about and I'm so happy. But in fact, apart from all these, I think the biggest thing that gives me joy is when I look at my family. I'm really blessed. I have 2 children, I have a husband, and I have, you know, brothers, sisters, parents. I have mother-in-law, sisters-in-law, and I'm surrounded by people who are helpful, you know. Without them, I can't. I tell people that the Fabulous Woman Network or Ama Duncan is not
just one person.
Ama Duncan is a group of people. Seriously, without them, I can't even be sitting here. I have people who are rooting for me, people who call me and say, pull that picture down, it is wrong. You know, people who correct me, people are encouraging me. And I think that's the achievement. Yeah. I don't know if I achieved it, but for me to be surrounded by these people, it's just a blessing.
Wow. Yeah. So now the last and then we go. There are people with ideas on their hearts that they might have to get away from their fear and then push out like you did. There are such people, sometimes they think about all the risk involved, what they are leaving behind, and then they don't want to move on. What would you say to such people?
I'll say that, first of all, I hope you have a God. If you do, speak to Him and listen to Him and trust Him. Monique, the sort of things that have happened to me in the past 3 years, I've had quite a long life. I like to think I'm 22, but I'm not. But the sort of experiences I've had just over the last 3 years, it's so amazing, it's so crazy that it cannot compare to the other part of my life. It cannot. And it's able to happen because I listened to God. Even when I was not sure, honestly, I wasn't even sure that the corporate training I'm doing, people will pay, because I had self-doubt. Who will pay you to come and train? You know, I had
and
all
speak to them and tell them that you have to do
who
it.
will pay? But today, people pay me dollars to speak. People pay. Sometimes I look up, I'm like, oh, did they really pay that much? You know, you have got to trust God. Look, this God we serve will never take you to a place and leave you. He's not, is he wicked? Even we human beings, will we take our kids to a certain place, a dark place, and leave them? We won't. Daddy will always be watching, mommy will always be watching. So how much more God? So for this person who has something you want to do, look, just trust God, obey Him, and please, you can hear God for yourself. He puts things in our hearts. Sometimes He gives us ideas as we are walking. I have never heard God speak. I don't know, the day He speaks, I'm sure I'll run. But I know He speaks to me through a lot of different things. Sometimes when I'm reading, something drops in my spirit. Sometimes something comes into my... That is God.
The ideas.
Sometimes He uses other people to tell you stuff. Listen and trust God. If you are not sure, just take the step anyway. Because you know what? If you make a mistake, He will bring you back.
Okay.
And the mistake won't be a waste. It will be a lesson. so that next time you know, oh, I cannot go this way because
Yeah.
when I did, it was wrong. So just trust him. One thing I've come to realize is when I'm not sure, I should take a step anyway, and God will save me.
That is good. When you're not sure, take the step anyway.
Anyway,
And then even if you swear, God will bring you back.
He will bring you back.
That's amazing. It's been wonderful speaking to you. You're a fabulous woman.
Thank you. You're also fabulous.
Thank you. So we have fabulous women
Yes,
here.
we have it in common.
Okay, so this is Ama's Booklands of Inspiration. I haven't read it, honestly. I will go and then after this read it
Okay, sure.
for myself. So this is MoniqueFriday. My guest for today was the fabulous Ama Duncan. Thank you so much for staying with us. My